And welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in Victoria 3. We had a little bit of a short last part, but we're going to try to record, I think, 5 parts tonight if things go according to plan. So, if you're watching on Twitch, it should be probably a longer stream than normally, but be shorter than average parts. We just got rotary valve, which is going to be a lot of labor saving, which we want to turn on in most cases. We want to turn that on for the sugar plantations. Okay. Okay, so it looks like it's just more hulls. So if the place has the profitability to accept that change, we should do it. There's maybe even an argument that even if it doesn't have the profitability to accept the change, I should do it. One thing we are going to run into is labor-saving issues, or is labor as America. We don't have all of China's population to handle construction and employment needs. Okay. And I do need more government admin. Get another 10 easily in capital. Let's get another 10 in Pennsylvania. Probably enough to deal with the short-term needs. Oh, and at some point I should get the Statue of Liberty going in New York. At some point, that infrastructure per population would actually probably be pretty good. Might want to go around building the power block statues. Right now, we're building railways because we need it for some of the labor-saving PMs. Turned on. Pressing issues. I'm a little tempted to try to get this to go towards the Democratic Party so we can swap over to Norton. We'll try. I don't know how easy that's going to be to do. Coalition coupons. We'll accept the rally and the flag effect there. Okay, so state actions, reset if they're off. Incorporate the title of the state there. No one escapes. In the long run, no one escapes my taxes. My taxes are coming for you. Okay. One thing we're going to do is we're going to reevaluate the lack of transport needs, because I suspect that's what our resource shortages are when they're existing. So you're short. 1, 2, 3. 1, 1. Because of course there's no transport in places that have no railways, reliably speaking. And we're going to like 10 there, 7 there, 5 there, 4, 3 was fine there. Okay. That gave us 54 more things to build, so we'll get those built quickly. And then we'll be back into trying to develop the one of the economies. Sub-economies. Probably glass again. Yeah, probably glass again. Steam powered thresher, so that's going to save us a lot of the labor from the farms. Okay, that look that's colonizing quicker over there. As soon as we defeat them. Got a new election, and yeah, the Republicans won the election again. So, they're staying in control. At some point I should probably build up the American fleets. Do I have the requirements for Panama? Let's start doing Panama. We have no choice but to attack. Okay, decentralized power, sure. We're already attacking them, so don't see any reason not to take the we must attack them choice. Okay, we're waiting for infamy to die down before we attack Sokoto. Sokoto's got some high infamy states to take, I think. At this point, we can take them in whatever order we want, but yeah, that's 13, 12.4, 13, 10, so yeah. We can't take them all in one war. Although we could probably take two in a war if we're careful. We let it get down to 0. So yeah, we're gonna chip away at Sokoto. Position of Niger complete. Okay. Oh, and Tripolitania has claims on those. That's why those still exist. That's fair. So we're going to run slight positive for a while as we start to burn down the credit cost. So it goes on for 3 more years, 2 to 3 more years. Free company charter, max number of companies. Okay. I'm thinking I want to save up for either a car or a telephone. Save this spot for a car or telephone maker. So unless one of the existing ones does that, we'll hold off. Okay, so our existing ones don't. It's not Kellogg car telephone. Could add art to the Carnegie Steel Company. Okay. So, combined American armament, we could do cars. Although I'm not super interested in the prestige good or the army bonuses there. And they're often two of the available ones, which we don't have the prerequisites for. Which kind of makes sense. I don't think we're going to get the electrics company until we have electrics. That's fair enough. Same sort of logic with the car company. So there's the electrics. General Electric, for example. That's actually a pretty interesting one. 5% innovation. Presumably we're missing telephone. Yeah. And it has to have 5 electric company. Fair. Ford Motor Company, same sort of logic. Interesting, this backfeeds motor and automotive industry from a motor automotive industry one. We need combustion engine. So not only... No, actually, yeah, that makes sense. I'm thinking, when I was thinking combustion engine, I'm thinking the one behind it. Thinking brushing ignition. Which is not. It's the combustion engine is this one. Yep, let's delay electricity. Oh, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. Let's finish aniline. Then, you know, we'll do aniline into combustion engine, into telephones, into central. We'll finish them around. But yeah, we're gonna have that telling us we can have a company until we can get one of those 2 companies. And I think we're gonna go for Ford first. We'll go to the telephone one next. We shall make a suitable offer. Okay, I need to improve their relations. Be able to do that pretty easily. And or we can just take Panama from them. That would be a little bit more of a stretch. Condemn slavery. We condemn slavery. And crank machine gun. Okay. Let's swap everything over to steel. That wasn't very... Oh, no, that was actually a decent chunk. Still apparently not a lot. I think it was a lot, but it wasn't a lot. Yeah, took us back down to, like, -200. That'll improve over time. Okay, so if we need dyes, we can sort dyes out that way. Although we can make dyes, I think, from plantations. Can I? Actually, I've got Africa, so I should be able to. I should be able to in Africa. So the silk is actually going to be slightly more valuable, which is the secondary production on that. Although I could probably import that from China. We're probably importing that from China already. Yeah. Okay, then of course we have heavy demand for glass. We're importing 1,000. We've got 3.5 thousand more. So in theory I could operate like 100 glass makers. Oops, let's not put that many in Illinois. 10's probably fine. Because we have it sorted by existing levels. So putting 10 in Illinois makes sense if we can employ 10. I don't think we can employ... Well, we're going to struggle to employ 10, I think. We'll encourage a little more migration, so that'll be fine. Okay, let's go with that. Washington Protocol disbanded. That's the investment rights into China, which is a little bit of a shame. What changed with China? They decided to change that choice. They have neutral opinion of us. I lost my declared interest in the area? That may have been it, yeah. Okay. Almost have a touch. There we go. Start colonizing there. It's going to be a while before we get another place where we can start colonizing, although that's probably going to be the next one. So we've completed the transition over to full steel frame. There's our skyscraper site in Minnesota. Okay. Would have assumed like New York or Washington, D.C., but nope, Minnesota. Got a new mandate. We're going to kick this into advanced research. Chance left some comments. Could you embrace slavery? If so, what benefits would you get? And Evening Will was just lurking. We could have embraced slavery back when we had the slaver ideology as the USA. So the United States starts off with legacy slavery, which is basically there is slavery in the United States South at the start of the game, but there's no slave trade going on, right? The United States had outlawed the slave trade prior to the start of the game, partially under pressure from UK and its sort of anti-slave policies, slave trade policies. The UK wouldn't necessarily reach into countries' territory and force them to abolish slavery, but it would interdict their slave trade. There's a bunch of stuff that goes on with Brazil as well, with Brazil having legacy slavery, but still kind of doing the slave trade under the British nose. But yeah, you can embrace slavery fully as the United States. It's a little bit hard to do after you've jumped off of it. So we've gone through the Civil War. We've got slavery banned, and the benefits you get from sort of backsliding from the game start, where you start with legacy slavery. The benefit you get from going from legacy slavery to slave trade is you can then start actually getting more slaves, which is good from the perspective if you want to have that population growth. But eventually you're going to have what's slowly going on at this point, which is the scramble for Africa starts up. And part of the slave trade is slaves moving from Africa to you. So once Africa is owned by major powers, that stops. So even if you go back and sort of embrace the slave trade, which you could do, it's basically giving you migration from places by giving you slaves. Slaves generally take the lowest paid jobs, and they can't necessarily get higher tier jobs. They can only do labor jobs in particular, which is the job type you need the least of. Most of the value that you get is from basically promoting your pop types. So it's going to give you economic growth by importing more workers to do more jobs. But when you do finally abolish slavery, those workers are likely to be African, because that's where the slaves come from. And you're likely to have a discrimination problem with those pop types. So it's a short-term boon that's not a very strong boon, that then gets weaker as time goes on, and eventually basically turns off because Africa gets colonized, and then you can't get any more slaves. Come to the United States. Tempted by generous offers of land and work in the region. People from Norway have become to New York. Whereas if you're not on slavery, if you get off of slavery, you can get populating the American West as journal entry. I suppose you don't need to get rid of slavery to promote European migration. But once you get to promoting European migration, then you can get migration from Europe. And if you're one of the colonial powers like the United States is, the Europeans are a pop type that you will accept pretty heavily. So they're actually a preferred migrant over the sort of forced African migration you get from slavery. And then if you really want Africans, you're probably better off joining the rush for colonizing Africa instead of the slave trade, which is kind of what we're doing right here. So we've got the United States is sort of sneaking its way into Africa here. I say sneaking. We've sent the American army in a couple times to take over various places, which is not particularly stealthy, but that's what we've been doing. Thinking about half a year, we're going to do an invasion of Sokoto, take about half the country, probably link up the two of our landing spots here. Electrical generation. Do I already have an internal combustion engine? I do. Or no, I queued it up the wrong way around. That's fine. We're doing combustion engine, or I thought electrical generation spread to us. So we're going to do combustion engine, we're going to do telephone, and then we're going to start electrification, I think, countrywide. Okay, so forcing down glass prices. I suppose we can move on to rubber next. Oh, importing coal, so that's something to make locally as well. There's combustion engine. I might have the oil to support that. We're not going to jump straight to that. I'd rather spend it on... spend it on actually making cars. Oh, that's electricity rights, okay. And then that's cars, we needed the cars first. Fair enough. Okay, where do we need... Is there a specific location I need to put the Ford Motor Company? Michigan. So we need 5 car companies in Michigan. Let's actually put this at the top of the queue, get that done soon. Sooner rather than later. Once that car company is made, presumably they can then own cars anywhere else. That, go ahead and incorporate in that state. Okay. What do we need the most of? Looking like rubber, which shouldn't be a problem because we've been taking over Africa for the rubber. 1,000 domestic plus another 800 trade. We're making 40 each. Okay, that is what it's going to be. Okay. Those rubber plantations going. That might not actually be enough to meet the domestic demand for rubber, but lower. Well, it'll open up the domestic supply, allow us to be a little bit less dependent on imports. Do we touch there? We do. So we can start that colony. Kindly burn this letter. It says... Mr. Woodman. We'll let the liberal be happy. Hit the party. Okay, so it looks like the Democrats are going to win this election. If Joshua Norton's still around, we may put him in charge of the petite bourgeoisie and try to get some multiculturalism going. Anarchism. Levies. Well... I need more government admin. Need more government admin. Put like another 15 in Washington, D.C., I suspect. Yeah. And we're starting to work down the credit balance, which is good. Advanced training for barracks and construction center. Okay. Oh, and I've got enough to... I should be able to do... American Company. American Ford Company. Click you, and we're looking for... Ford Motor Industries. Not Carnegie, not American Steel. Not that one. We want the other car company. That would make a nice plan B, but no. Michigan, Incorporated State, Motor Industries, level equal to 5. Okay, I built 5 in Michigan. Michigan is an incorporated state. All owned by the United States. Is it one of those bugs where I need it to be privately held? Press the button. Because we're on laissez-faire. Probably. It's also greater than or equal to. We'll build a couple more. And put another 5 in there. And the American state is Michigan. It's incorporated. Has building motor industries 5 or better. Motor industries. Motor industries. Ups to 3. So, automobile used to be merged with motor industries. That's where that's coming from. So I really don't need to build these motor... Well, for the market I don't need to build the motor industries, but we need it for the company I want. Let's see if we can buy off of... You're probably not going to sell me this data one. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to buy this off of them. Too expensive. This is because it's a British subject instead of itself. Election, and the Democrats this time have won the election. That's the one I'm looking for. Reform government. Out with the Republicans, in with the Democrats. And then... Okay, we've lost Joshua Norden, although we have a feminist. Gives me some options. Women's suffrage would not be a bad plan. Can we get you... Oh, already has to have women's suffrage to get the suffrage. Okay, game. You do you. What can we get for agitators from other countries? Show the available. Peasant movement, socialist movement. Marx. Granted, we don't have the trade union control, so that's not what we want. So I should sort to... Our government is armed forces, petit bourgeoisie, evangelical, and planters. I should sort to them. So, not you. Oops. So these are the guys that I can invite and make head of the hypothetical party. Don't think we're that desperate for Council Republic. Okay. So, we got the government we've got. What else can we do with this government? Go to regressive citizenship laws. It's kind of the opposite direction of what we want. Can't move. Progressive on that. Oh, we can move to professional army. Or mass conscription. We'd have a little bit of opposition to mass conscription. We can move to legal guardianship as helps reduction on that. And we can move to corporatized unions. Which would probably be better than the anti-strike laws. Okay, let's do professional army first. Allow us to build the army up. Multitudinous. Wait, I already hit populated... Okay. Would have preferred to have more migration, but that's what we're getting. Great masses of people now inhabit the American nation thanks to our efforts to attract migrants and grow our population. Take the limousine. Okay. Construction. Could go with more steel, could go with more glass. Could actually make our own clothes instead of importing it, because more than half the country's clothes are being imported. Highest price, we're going to ignore that. And it's automobiles. We want to get the automobile company going first. And they'll probably build more automobiles. Although I could probably get some pretty good demand going for automobiles, so that's tempting. And then it's clothing. Okay. So we want to really expand clothing. Expand the Navy. Let's expand the Navy before I expand the clothing. It's 20 and 10. Okay. Sorry, my peasants. That brings up to 35. 15, let's do. Actually, Benin's not a good place for. Of course, it's too late to do that. If I bring that down, is it going to get rid of the Benin ones? I don't think so. Because there's no easy way. Okay, never mind. They're in Benin. Hopefully, Benin will hire up. Oops. Back to the fleet. Okay, hopefully Benin will hire up. This batch. Okay, that's the 10 and 10. We're going to sort by peasants again. Put these ones in Florida. 3 heavy ships in Florida. 10 from New York. Okay. That'll bring those both fleets up to 100 each. I think that's a good place to start. And now I can get some diplomacy going on. Oh! China's having a bad day. China is having a bad day. Unrecognized. Okay, so if I think I could do a landing in China, now's the time to invade China. Although, on that argument, I was remembering... Oh. Ongoing conflict. The British are going after Sokoto. Conquering there and there. I suppose I could go in... Oh, and they're going to conquer that spot as well. Oh, they're going to conquer the whole thing. Oh, I'm too late. The British are taking it over. I suppose... And it's too late for me to intervene. So this really comes down to can the British overrun them. Before I do. If I were to come to the back end. I'm not. I'm going to go after China. I'm guessing... Okay, so that's technically the Chinese government. The traditional Chinese government. Do you have a port? Before I annex you? You do have a port. Hypothetically large army, in practice probably really tiny army. Beijing, Formosa. Yeah, let's go for Beijing. And then what do you want for Wargle? Return states, you'd want Formosa. Okay. You know, we'll agree that. Someone is already invading them. Who are you at war with? Heavenly Kingdom. So I invited the Heavenly Kingdom into a war. Okay, how's that gonna play out? I don't know. I have no idea. Oh, Beijing just backs down, gives me their primary goal. Okay. We now control Beijing. It's a lot of bureaucracy. Well, in theory, we've got a lot of people to work a lot of jobs. Just most of them are in China, so we need to move them out of China. Just a little bit of turmoil there. So by annexing China or annexing Beijing, we acquired 18.2 million more people to give jobs to. And I think like 1 million unemployed people there. Although, if we can keep it from revolting, this is a pretty good place to expand from. Oh, those engine companies are done, so I can now, should be able to pick up Ford Motor Company. There we go. Okay, we got demand for cars. We're both importing cars and exporting cars. Because that's how many cars we need. How many cars the world needs. We got the logistics to do that in Beijing. So let's try to build up. We need domestically. We need like another 10. Yeah, let's just say another 10 automobile makers in Beijing. And then after that, we're probably going to go into clothing. Start with 100 levels of clothing in Beijing. No, I don't have the infrastructure for that. Let's do 50 levels of clothing in Beijing. We'll reevaluate at that point. I get trade privileges, they get investment rights. Trade privileges, money transfer. Okay, we're going to negotiate this a little bit more aggressively. I'd like a power block embassy. I don't have the... I don't think there's someone's arrival. I can work with that. Who's my new rival? The Ottoman Empire. I invested in them, they invested in me. I get a power block embassy. Sure. Oh, and I'm going to ask for an obligation. Because if we can, we would like to put them in our sphere. Slightly expand the Wall Street Pact trade league here. See if that works. I don't think it will. If we want per capita taxation, I say nay. Or tenant farmers, I say nay. We're just going to get the hit. Untrained hands. The extra mortality. Okay, I already have someone deployed, so that shouldn't be a problem. Professional army. probably going to want to raise the taxation capacity in Beijing by a lot. Getting 333 from government. Yeah, so we can like triple the size of the government in Beijing. Still have extra demand. So let's queue that up behind. Well, we already got queued there. And then we'll probably need railroads and ports and all the other good stuff. One way to fight turmoil and radicals is jobs, jobs, and more jobs. There's 1 million unemployed people, and I believe almost all of them are in Beijing. 900,000 unemployed people in Beijing. Yeah. So it's jobs, 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 and more jobs in Beijing. Like Beijing, just there's a workplace in Beijing. Subsidize it so it employs up. Oh, and I need more construction sectors. Okay. We're gonna drop this tax. We're gonna raise the government wages. We're gonna do some decrees in Beijing. I got some decrees I can probably pull back. Right. I think we've got green grasses out in a couple places. Yeah, we'll pull 2 of those back. So, Beijing is getting road maintenance for the construction efficiency. Emergency relief. Oh, never mind. We're at social mobility. Okay, that's all we're gonna do then. I can put the greener gas back in New York, I think. That's what we're gonna do. And then we come and put the taxes back down to normal. Or the government wages back down to normal. Well, that's annoying. I'm trying to make it better, guys. Okay, well that's the case. Everything that hasn't been started in Beijing just cancel for the moment. Because what we're going to have to do to deal with this is we're going to have to send in the troops. Which shouldn't be a problem, it's... as it is. I suppose the alternative... They probably support... multiculturalism. Bambara, the national movement, is really the only one that'd be a little bit problematic. The rest of them I think we can make do. This should, in theory, calm them down. And the question then is, can I make compromises to fix the stall chance? The answer there is probably no, but we're going to try. We're going to try, we're going to fail. Some political decisions. Okay. Negotiated with who we can. Oh, some stuff changed and more people oppose it. Although we can apparently negotiate with them as well. Estimate industry. Food, textiles, furniture. Yeah, I was thinking about doing that anyway. Although that'd be 300 levels. 400 levels, that'd be a bit hard to do. Low taxes. I'm in charge of the treasury. Put them in charge of the treasury. It's going to be expensive, but... Ask compulsory primary school. After this. Or I can do more missing funds. We'll agree to primary school. We'll see if that works. And okay, we got movements opposing it, but it's more plausible to pass. And this has calmed down the revolution in China. For the moment, at least. With that calmed down, we can take at least an attempt to improve the government here. Local situation. Because again, the problem here at a fundamental level is the obstinance, the turmoil, and the... Well, at the fundamental level, it's the unemployment. Get the unemployment down. The Chinese will calm a lot down. These guys wanted the cultural exclusion, so we're not going to be able to calm down with culturalism. Although it looks like they're probably not going to revolt. They're probably going to calm down as soon as we... either succeed or fail at multiculturalism. Philosophical pragmatism. And even apparently trying to give them multiculturalism is not... Oh no, it's appeasing them just Barely. Okay, so I can probably get away with raising the taxes. Too. Okay, we're gonna take a part break in here. If you're watching on YouTube, we'll have another part up tomorrow as we attempt to keep Beijing under our control, which is, again, as I've brought up, is probably just going to be jobs, 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 more jobs. In fact, one thing I should come in here is probably going to turn the labor saving off, because it's Beijing. We'll work through that on the next part. If you're watching on YouTube, that'll be the part up tomorrow. If you're watching on Twitch, feel free to hang around. I think we're going to go ahead and take a short break to replace the cup of tea. I think the cup of tea is about to disappear in 3 seconds. So with that, I wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part, and bye for now.